Hey everyone, I'm Almar of almarsguides.com, and in this video here, I'm going to talk to you about the Ranger build in Titan Quest. So this is a combination of hunting and nature, and boy oh boy is this bad boy overpowered. So I'm going to show you in this video just how overpowered this build is. But first, let's take a look at the build itself, the abilities I use, why I use them, the gear I use, etc, etc. So to get started, Study Prey is going to be one of your two main abilities. Study Prey and Plague are insane debuffs when combined. So as you can see, 66 physical resist and 66% pierce resist, along with defensive ability resist or decrease, and then bleeding resist decrease, elemental resist decrease, and then go over to Plague. Plague also comes with physical resist decrease, elemental resist decrease, and poison resist decrease. So enemies are taking basically like 100 plus damage, 100% more damage from your attacks, plus you're getting like plus 300% damage from your attacks from some of the buffs you have. Like you have Art of the Hunt, which gives you 115% piercing damage. Then you have Call of the Hunt, which gives you 139% piercing damage. I mean, it's just insane. The amount of damage you do and the amount of flat damage modifiers you have is just insane. Like, look, puncture shot arrows. Here's another flat percent damage increase, the pierce damage. It's just like it's just insane. You'll see. So Call of the Hunt is the second most important ability. We're going to talk about this more later. This is a short duration buff, but with our build we can keep it up at all times because we have the refresh ability from nature. And this essentially, Call of the Hunt just gives you flat damage boosts. And Art of the Hunt, basically the same deal. It gives you flat damage boosts, except for the passives that come with it. Find Cover, this gives you a chance to avoid projectiles, which is insanely overpowered because archers suck in this game and they deal a shit ton of damage. And Trailblazing. Up to you if you want to dump full points into it. I personally did because I don't like being entrapped and I like moving faster. And then you also have Marksmanship, which is going to be your left click button ability, left mouse button click ability, unless you're a spear. If you're going to use spear for this build, which it doesn't really matter if you do, you're only going to be able to use the regular old auto attack. Also, if you're going spear, you're going to want to pick up takedown and spear dance. Both of these are optional, but they're pretty nice for spear. Last but not least in this build, Herbal Remedy. So it's up to you if you want to keep this on yourself at all times. I personally don't. I typically only use Herbal Remedy when I'm fighting an enemy that is dealing heavy poison damage because it gives you 100% poison resist when it's when you max it 4 points over the top of the skill, which is insane. So you don't need poison resist on your gear. You can just use Herbal Remedy anytime you fight a boss that deals poison damage. And the only other two abilities in this tree that I have not mentioned is Woodlore. It gives you flat attack speed and defensive ability boost. This is insanely good for normal difficulty. The flat defensive ability boost will make you quite powerful for, or quite tanky for almost all of normal, especially acts 1 through 3. And Volley is the other thing that is worth mentioning in hunting. It basically just more damage. Hunting just insanely boosts our damage. Now over to nature. Heart of the Oak is one of the main bread and butter buffs that you always want to get when you go into nature. It just gives you 85% increased health, which is insane. Only 1 point in the Tranquility of Water. I almost always just put 1 point in the Tranquility of Water, and you want to max Permanence of Stone because it gives you 30% elemental resists. This will allow you to not cap your elemental resist, which is very useful because you can then put your gear, you can then gear for other stuff. So refresh, the best, arguably one of the best nature abilities. I only ever put 1 point into this because it works just fine with 1 point. I don't see any reason to ever dump any more than 1 point into it. Although I guess maybe if you have a really, really long skill, like something like Colossus form or something like that for defense. So aside from refresh, we have Call of the Wild. Max out Call of the Wild, the first skill, and also get as many plus skills on your gear as you can get. +3 is recommended because it'll allow you to use 3 wolves. Well, actually +2, but +3 is better. I mean, and +4 is even better than that. For pet builds, they are very, very skill point heavy. As you can see here, Call of the Wild comes with 3 passives, and they're pretty costly passives. You only want to put 1 point into Maul, just to get past it. Survival Instinct you want to max because it increases their flat physical damage as well as damage absorption. Basically makes them invincible when they get below 33% health. And you also want to do Strength of the Pack, which gives them flat damage boosts as well. So those two passives definitely want to max. And your Nymph, Sylvan Nymph, this you arguably you want to max the Nymph, and then you basically put points into the passives. At first, you put points into the passives just to get 1 point in them, so they benefit from your plus skills. And then as you start to level up and you get towards max level, all of your extra skill points dump into the Nymph. The Nymph is basically like where you dump all of your points after you're done everything else. And Plague, your bread and butter, most important debuff in nature. So that basically covers all of it. As you can see my builds one more time. And then we'll look at my gear. My gear is quite impressive for this character. It isn't very, very specific and niche to this character, but it is very, very good gear. You'll notice I have a decent amount of plus skills. Like I have my Tracker's Armor here. Great plus skills benefits. Band of the Souls, which is, it's I use it for the Vitality Resist, if nothing else. I need Vitality Resist. Tracker's Hood, more bonus to skills. Only a few skills in hunting though, so it's not anything amazing. It also comes with flat bonus to pierce damage, so that's plus 100% more pierce damage from my hood. It's not it's not required for this build, but it's very recommended you get like Tracker's Hood. And then I also have Chiron's Loop, which is I need the pierce and poison resist for this build. It's very, very important. Because my gear doesn't come with enough of it. And then I have my shield, which I chose because it has plus skills, plus it has pierce, poison, and elemental resist. It's usually easy to get elemental resist. Here's my Stonebinder's cuffs. Arguably, this is the best piece you can get for this slot on this build. It comes with plus 3 skills, which you need. It comes with attack speed, which you need, and elemental resist, which you need. This is arguably the best artifact you can get, Talisman of the Jade Emperor. There's a few more that come with high elemental resist. There's also an artifact with like plus 100% vitality resist, which is very, very useful too. And you could use that instead of Talisman of the Jade Emperor, but this is kind of just a universal, like, amazing artifact. So Myrmidon's Pendant, I chose this because of all the resistances on it, plus it comes with flat percent physical damage. Again, flat percent boosts to damage are insane for this. And then I have my legs, which I chose because they give plus 1 to skills and hunting mastery, plus they give a flat dexterity boost, and of course physical, pierce, bleeding, poison resist, which are all the resists that I am lacking in the most, as you can see by my resists. So these are my secondary resists and all of the secondary information about my character. So now let's go kill some shit. I'm going to run through Hades Palace. We'll be able to show you how good this character does. Now, a lot of I'll explain to you how we do these packs. So when you pull packs of mobs, you're going to want to immediately do Study Prey on them, and then Plague. Study Prey, Plague, and then you go ham on them. So Study Prey, like I said before, it increases the amount of damage they take by like 100% from your piercing and physical, or piercing and bleed, I think it is. And Plague decreases their physical resist as well as a bunch of other resists, and that just, I mean, you don't even have to be the one that attacks. Like right there, I didn't attack. If you noticed that, I won't attack for this pack either. So watch, I will just debuff them and then stand there. So my hands aren't even on the keyboard right now. My pets are just decimating these mobs, as you can see. But when the debuffs fade, they stop taking a lot of damage at all. Like, see how his damage isn't much, and then I cast the debuff on him and his health bar started going down a lot more. So your debuffs, like, essentially, you can play this build one of two ways. You can be nothing more than a debuffer for your pets, or you can also deal damage yourself. And by nothing more than a debuffer, I mean for really, really hard fights. I'll show you in a second because we're probably going to run into one of those gigantes constructs. We're definitely gonna have a few fights in this area where we're not going to be able to do a lot of damage ourselves. We're going to be kiting because we don't want to die, and I don't have proper gear swap. Like you might have looked at my gear earlier and you're thinking to yourself, well, of course you do so well if with gear like that. And yes, but also no, because I don't have vitality gear swap, which I need for like Hades. So I kind of have to do like a weird kite in order to kill him. I'll show you when we get there. And also you might be thinking you need to do that for Cerberus too, but Herbal Remedy, bam, 80% max poison res. And actually Cerberus isn't in here. Cerberus is in the Tower of Judgment, so I'm just dumb. And you'll also notice I'm not the best at this build because I have a very, very strong tendency to forget short duration buffs. So Call of the Hunt, I forget a lot, and I have downtime on the ability just because I'm bad at the game. So here's one of those Gigantes enemies. As you can see, I had to run away from him a bit, and he took out my nymph. So, your pets, it's up to you how you would like to do this. If you want to get the, what is the ability called? I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look at it in a second. It's the heal, regrowth. If you want to get regrowth and to heal your pets, that's up to you. I personally think that's a waste of time. I just resummon my pets when they get low health. So like that wolf is low health, I'll just resummon him. The wolves stay alive very long at low health, but you don't have much health regen for them, and you also don't have any heals, so they don't really heal themselves. So the only way to really heal them is to resummon them. So you'll be resummoning your pets a decent amount. However, that's not too big of a deal. They don't actually die that much. It's not like the earth pet that dies all the time. So if you can't tell, my damage is just insane. Like once I have both debuffs on the enemies, they melt. So like this guy is almost full health, boom, dead. Watch this pack. Nom nom nom. I just ate them all. Named?
Not
no, you're
enough
not.
energy.
Watch. Nom nom nom. Eat them. This is one of my favorite builds I've ever played in this game so far, just because it's so fun. He just eats everything. It'll work. You'll be able to do this with a spear as well. It'll be a little bit different playstyle. I'm probably going to make gameplay videos using a spear as well because I would like to try this build as a spear because I'm genuinely curious. However, throwing weapon, bow, doesn't really matter what you use. Both go well with marksmanship. If you're using a bow, I don't think you'll be able to use a shield, so that's the only trade-off you're making. Kind of a big trade-off, kind of sucky, but throwing weapons will work a lot better. Throwing weapons are added with Ragnarok, so you won't be able to use throwing weapons or maybe even find them if you're just playing the base version of the game. But as you can see, didn't even debuff that enemy, still ate him. Isn't it funny how fast I'm killing stuff? It's just insane. I've thought that ever since I made this build. And if you're wondering, like, well, it's kind of obvious why we're doing so much flat percent damage increase plus all of the debuffs we have. This is probably one of the top tier builds in the entire game that you can get. I have not played Ritualist is the only build that I have played that has come close to how overpowered this is. Whole pack of mobs destroyed in the blink of an eye. Notice how much damage we're taking from the archers, though? That's why find cover is so great. This is he's gonna be a hard one. No, get away. I'm scared of you. I don't have enough vitality resist to take many hits from him at all. But as you've seen, though, he still posed barely any threat because of... There's another epic one. No, he isn't. He still posed no threat because of the amount of damage I deal. It's just insane. I think I already have his soul stone. Oh, I don't. Interesting. All kneels before the ranger class. And you might be wondering, like, dude, are you even in legendary difficulty? Indeed I am. Indeed I am. Now we're going to show you Hades. Teehee, this will be fun.
You will pay for your hubris.
Didn't debuff him. There we go. Now he's debuffed. Wish I could keep his health bar up at all times so you can see how fast it goes down. Ouchies, my pet. Trying not to stand in one spot so I don't die, but... See, now, right now we're doing the debuff strategy. I'm basically just running around and debuffing the boss while letting my pets do everything. As you can see, when I start attacking, though, I do a ton of damage to him. But if this is like your first character and you don't have that good of gear, worry not, because you can still very easily do this build. Just do the exact method you just seen me doing, aka the debuff method, which is you essentially just debuff the boss and let your pets do everything while you keep moving around. Study, Pray, and Plague on the boss together will do a ton. And you can just basically run around like a chicken with your head cut off and let the boss die. So we'll go in the Tower of Judgment. There's a few other things I would like to show you real fast before I end this video, but you just seen me clear all of Hades Palace on legendary difficulty without even breaking a sweat. So I think that goes pretty far to show you how great this build is. So I'm going to debuff all of these enemies and just let my pets do everything. Technically, and the reason I want to show you this is because technically the pets aren't required for this build, but I want you to see their value. Forgot my call, the hunt buff. Because it is completely up to you if you want to use pets. I personally am I'm a pet person. I like using pets in games, so I squeeze pets into any build that I can possibly use them into. And this is definitely one of those builds. The pets don't do that good of a job tanking for you, but they do a great job with DPS. That I attack there, but... my reflexes keep making me attack. But anyway, if you want, like, you could essentially play this build nothing else besides just letting your pets kill stuff. Like, I'm basically just running around I'm debuffing and letting my pets kill everything. If your gear sucks and you don't have enough resistances to do legendary very well, that's fine, man. Just run around, or just go into legendary like I'm doing right now, and just debuff shit and let your pets kill everything. You can run around like this, while all the Mache archers are just eaten alive by your wolves and your nymph. So yeah, it's, you like, don't get turned off by the gear you see me wearing. You might be like, well, dude, you have so much just flat damage. Like, I'm not gonna be able to do as much damage as you. Yes, but I mean, my pets don't have any more flat damage than your pets would, and they're just eating everything alive. So you don't, like, the damage from you is secondary if you want it to be. You can just focus on the damage your pets do and let them just eat everything. So that's basically all I wanted to show you with this build. Hopefully you guys learned something from this build. Hopefully one of you enjoys it as much as I have. Definitely I would give this build like a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. It's one of the funnest builds I've played in this game, and I'm definitely going to experiment more with different weapon types with this build. But anyway, I'll catch you guys around the next video. Peace.